President Donald Trump,
Yeah.
the women's marches.
Ooh.
Sash.
What a waste of time.
Well, I was going to ask you actually what you thought about the inauguration before you offered your opinion on the women's marches.
I'm all for female rights, but I think that was more symbolic than anything. And I think this whole situation is a metaphor for the way the world is at the moment. People want it to be a certain way, but then there are others who make it a certain way, and Donald Trump is one of those people. And I'll tell you now.
Well, can I ask you just about Trump? What did you think about the inauguration? Did you see the thumbs up?
No, I didn't see the thumbs up. I ducked in and out of it, but look, I'd say if people there didn't want to rock up to it, why the hell should I watch it? You know,
Good point.
I did notice that he did have ads all up over Facebook and Twitter, and they said they were expecting like 800 to 900,000 people, but I think they had significantly less than that, and it looked pretty bad. I mean, considering what you saw when Obama was inaugurated, it was, what was it, 1.8 million? Yeah.
It didn't look good, but you know what? Maybe the Women's March is just a symbol, but it was a fairly powerful one. I mean, there was people in Antarctica, you know.
Oh, I went to the one in Sydney.
There was millions and millions of people around the world. As far as symbols go.
What's it going to do?
Probably nothing.
Nothing.
Probably
can I tell you, as a woman, perhaps I should speak about the Women's March.
Yes.
The one that I attended in Sydney, which was incredibly exciting. And I must say, it was really invigorating to be among a group of women and men who were trying to. I don't know how many there were, but they estimate about 10,000 people in Sydney. And it was a really powerful experience. And yes, it's symbolic, and I understand all of that. But, you know, movements start somewhere. And I think it's really important that if you feel strongly about these sorts of issues, that you try to get active. If that means just attending a protest every now and then I think it's a really important move.
I bet you 90% of all those women there, if they were ever given an opportunity to be in a position of power, they would go with the movement that has actually brought them into power. Do you understand what I'm saying? They would not go against. They wouldn't go against what the establishment is wanting them to do. I'm saying it's sort of like with politicians. When they get into power, right, before they're in power, they have all this...
they'll say anything.
They'll say anything. You know, they're idealists. You know, they want to get in there and they want to change things. But I'm telling you now, once you get in, if you want to be there, then you're just going to have to swim with it rather than against it.
Yeah, but that's not what the march is about. The march is about people standing up for what they believe is right. It's about standing up for human rights. It's about standing up for minorities. It's about standing up for women. It's about saying
that a woman who is more... It's just standing up for women.
No,
that's it.
It's
just
about minority.
Women.
The whole thing was a reaction to Trump and Trump's policies. It was all about his stance on immigration, his stance on Muslim migration, his stance on the Mexican war.
Yeah, no, they made it all about women. They made it all about women. No, it wasn't.
If you were there, maybe if you were there, you'd have a better sense of it.
I think that's fair enough. But I tell you,
there are a lot of placards that weren't just about women. There are lots of different groups there that were fighting their causes.
I think it's pretty interesting the way Trump, in general, has really ripped the mask off the idea that America is anything but a global empire. Like, any kind of pretense that it wasn't is now gone. Yeah. Like, look at this. Seriously, it feels like we should have been allowed to vote for the guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, this is how much people are so obsessed with it. They couldn't give a shit about domestic politics, which I don't totally...
But it's going to impact domestic politics.
Yeah. No. You're right. You're right. That's true. That's
but not only that, but it also galvanises domestic politicians. And it's a global issue because, you know, you've got these far-right politicians all over the world.
It's an ideology
Western world. Yeah, and they're moving. And Trump has really encouraged them to move forward.
It is. And I think that one aspect of particularly on the women's topic, is what Trump did today, which is sign off on the Mexico City policies, reinstated it. But this is fucked.
Well, we should explain it to our audience.
This is basically a document that prohibits US aid money going to anything remotely connected with abortion, contraception, all of that kind of stuff. So that impacts on people. Talk about empire. This is like directly impacting people in mostly impoverished countries who now can't get aid funding and contraception at the same time, which I think for me, I really struggle to kind of psych myself up to get involved in this stuff now. I've just find the whole thing sickening.
It's lost. Really. It's gone, man. You know, it just bothers me. You know,
because there's nothing you can do about it.
It's
just squabble.
You know what? It even pisses me off. We're talking about this shit because you know what? There's nothing we can do. It sickens me, and there's nothing we can do.
Can I just say that sort of attitude is what got Trump elected.
Oh yeah, well, because we're going to go and vote for him.
It's apathy, and people don't show up to vote.
No,
it's what happened with
Yeah,
Brexit?
but you're talking about America like we had any part in that. We didn't have any part in that.
I'm sure that there are people in the US who would have felt the same way, who felt very apathetic about the election because they were faced with two alternatives that were unpalatable to them.
Well, it was a shit sandwich.
Yeah.
But look at the option, the case that you've got now. So I sort of
not
think,
a great option, but at the same time, everything had to reach a crux point. Like, this is the business end of capitalism. I've seen online some people are calling it the harvesting the blood of the poor stage of capitalism. That is happening. It's true. Like, the wealth, the whole sort of lot of it, and people perceived the alternative to Trump to be, I guess, the road where they knew it was going to keep going. I think it's a pretty dumb choice to think that this guy's going to change anything. He's not. He's probably going to make it a lot worse. But you know,
here's a funny thing about it. I mean, with the what was it? The transatlantic trade deal, right? Well, and
TPP.
TPP. That's right.
Pacific.
Yeah, the Pacific trade deal. That's right. Sorry. I found it interesting that Bernie Sanders was actually on his side regarding pulling out of that deal and just concentrating more on the US economy, so that the jobs filter down there. That tells me that you know, maybe he's on a real sort of like protectionist bend here, right? And this is going to really affect everybody. Not just, I'm talking about all the Democrats within the United States. And this is why I think we're so pissed off. And I don't think we've actually felt the real brunt of it yet, because eventually the economic policy is going to set in. Socially, we've already seen what he's done. I don't think we're going to grasp the full magnitude of this thing.
And I think the impact is going to be much greater than
and
what
is he
we've
a
ever
two-term
experienced.
president? Is he a two-term president?
I don't want to think about that. Let's just take it, one term at a time, because you think about 8 years in advance. And
he'll be 78.
Won't be pretty.
Can I just say, the inauguration wasn't all bad. There was some sweet action.
Who was performing there, by the way? So many people knocked him back.
There was Third Eye Blind.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Actually, there was a Bruce Springsteen cover band that was booked to play.
And they didn't rock
out. But probably my favourite part of this, a lot of people would have seen this online in its many forms. It's been memed to the gills, is this guy, Richard Spencer, who is basically, well, some people say he's a neo-Nazi. He's definitely done some things that seem a little neo-Nazi-ish. When Trump won, he held a conference for him and his supporters, and he said, "Heil Trump," and or "Hail Trump," I should say, the anglicised version. Let's take a look at what happened to him.
Neo-Nazis don't love me; they kind of hate me. Actually,
the KKK, neo-Nazi.
those people don't like me.
Are you
to be
like
honest.
the hipster version of the neo-Nazi movement?
It's Pepe's become kind of a symbol.
And he just gets slammed right in the face.
Yeah, that's look, I don't, they shouldn't have done that.
You can't condone this?
No, I can't, because violence begets violence, that's what I say. So I just think, you step back.
I found it funny no one chased the guy. No one chased the guy at all. He was just he was gone.
He was running to the nearest bar because he'll never have to buy another beer in his life.
That's probably right. That's probably right.
That actually has kicked off, this is actually sort of a re-trending article that's come off the back of that. A few months ago, I believe it was Vice, did an article where they talked to some sort of ethicist and asked, is it okay to punch a Nazi?
Right.
And, well, I think the mob has spoken. The world and the millions of people that have watched that video.
Have they liked it?
Or they think it's okay.
Right.
I think it's okay. But just because it's been viewed millions and millions of times, people think it's okay. No.
I don't think anyone's viewing it and saying, God, that's awful.
Yeah.
Except for me.
I actually went,
that's awful.
Oh, that was a heavy punch. Oh, I was shocked by that.
All right, we're going to move on now because I can see where this conversation is going and I don't really know if I want to be part of it.
Shatters.